haven't done a study in a while, but now it's time. In this one, I'll try to break down and take a look at a couple of shots animated by Laurent Benhamou, one of my favorite animators. These are some shots that he animated for the Netflix show The Crown, I believe for the second episode of season 4. Make sure to check more of Laurent's work following the links in the description. So let's dive in and see what we can learn. So these are the shots we'll be looking at. They are more than a couple, but I'd like to look at all of them. Laurent's an animation master, especially when it comes to photorealistic animals and creatures, and dynamic movement. And I love his work because I love creature animation. I have been following his stuff since I saw the Warhorse breakdown that he shared, and later the gorilla motion study, and I was just mind blown. Therefore, I am really excited to look at this. So here we go. First of all, this is an incredible pose. Really iconic. The pose we start with. It looks like a painting. People have used this pose to depict stags in an epic way. If you just Google red stag, you will get something like that. Paintings and photographs like this. But I would argue that how this is posed is even better because we have a clear silhouette. Good pose, clear silhouette. A very interesting thing we see is that in all these shots they leave a few frames in the beginning because it's easier for the audience to understand what's going on. In this shot, 9 frames. Next, I would like to look into the mechanics of the shot. Here we have the fare is affected just before 1 frame before the impact, it seems. And then it looks like in this frame we have the impact. So now right here, impact, like boom. And here we have the ears first reacting. They go back as the body tenses up. This is what I really love, you can see the reference as well. The hips, after the impact, they feel the heat and they start going down and they drag the rest of the body. And you can see we have this dragging, but then as the hips hit the floor, the gravity, you can see the spine changes. As the hips push the spine, gravity is pulling the chest down as well. Then the head overlaps and drags behind. You can see it follows the forces of the chest. Really beautiful work. Let me just delete this head drawings to keep it more clean. And another thing I see here is that the chest comes down. We can see the chest hits the floor and bounces up and down again. And we feel the heavy impact. Look at this area. You can see here it's coming higher, this part. Now if we take a look at here, this is what's causing the the force is coming that way. So if I delete this drawing, you can see the chest is rotating as the right side is hitting the ground. It's also a little bit of rotation as the legs try to basically realize what's going on and get up as fast as possible. Looking at the head here, you can see the rotation of the head as it puts the effort in and always leading with the head. The anticipation, trying to push the body forward, because all the stag can think right now is I need to escape, I need to leave, I need to run. Here it hits the highest point. You can see it gets in the running arc. And yeah, I just love how this is animated. You can see here the squash and stretch. The body, the upper body is starting to follow the head. And the push here, you can see the legs as they push here, the back leg especially, you can see here in this frame, stretches out, and one last push as the head is already pulling the body, and the back legs will give the, or should I say the back leg will give the last push. Another thing is, like, if you look right here, there is some twitching and some muscle spasms. I love this noise, beautifully animated. Really quickly he demonstrates, oh, there is pain. There's a lot of pain on the leg. Gives us this really organic feeling of pain and confusion. And here the stag opens the mouth as well, takes a breath out, or a sigh I should say, maybe could be even a cry in pain. And here we can see the eyes are closing again as all the effort squeezing here to get up. Starts open, and here it's closed as the stag is putting all this effort to get up. And that's the first cool things I can see about this shot. Let's move on to the next one. In this one we see this beautifully animated kick. Deers and stags, they do that when they are confused and in pain, usually after being shot. Excuse here the gruesome reference. And here we see the extremes of how the spine bends, the squash and stretch, how there's an organic offset between the chest and the hips. The head is still leading, even in such an extreme movement as the mule kicks, as people call this sometimes. I'm sure Laurent has looked at a lot of reference for his work. Here we see the blend is just incredible, where the body doesn't lose momentum, blends beautifully to this run cycle with the injured leg. It is challenging to do such a clean blend from such an extreme action to a cycle. Maybe that isn't even a cycle, but I assume it is, where you timed the chest and the hips maybe on a layer. But yeah, beautiful work, I love it. You can see it goes from the kick where the leg is extended. You can see it here. And here it barely touches the floor, pushing up, but then here it doesn't. Here it tries again, tries to push. Here we have a lovely extension to demonstrate the push. Beautiful contrast to demonstrate the weight, squashing and stretching. Here we can see the stag is hopping away. And here, as we go back into the run cycle, I love the head movement. Let me go back. Let's look at this. Look at the rotation of the head leading the action. This cool rotation of the head leading the action, where the nose goes up and down. Amazing, incredible work. But I'll try to keep this brief, so let's move on to the next shot. In this one, first of all, I like how there is about maybe 6 frames where the audience can register the environment before the stag comes in. And land right here, boom. Looking here how the hips are used to show the weight. As the leg here bends, the strong leg catches the weight. So after the contact, the hips are still coming down and the leg bends even more. And I love this because of the momentum here. We have a small hop, as you can see the background leg or the hind left leg, it's injured. So we have this small, tiny step. Here the spacing is fast to get the weight under it. The moment we get the weight under it, looking at the injured leg again, it briefly touches as the stag is pushing its rear body mass, the hips, for the jump. Here you can see a little bit of stepping. And here it tries to land, but it slips, and this is demonstrated by this beautiful, like, big spacing here you can see. And then it eases again to smooth the movement. When I look at it playing back now, I really like that there is this pause and hesitation. There is the overall momentum that keeps going, but there is a little bit a pause before the jump, a hesitation. Maybe I should write here a pause. And the head adjustment, looking at the ground and where it's gonna land. And then try to lead again, try to push. I love this shot because it's very dynamic and unique. So let's see the next one. In this last one, we still start with some quiet, empty frames, so we can take in the environment before the action. Here we see the stag coming in. Here we have mouth is closed, closed, closed. Here on the up, still closed. Then here, release the air. On the down position, we have a breath. It seems the breath comes at the down position, the exhale here. I want to look at the hips here, where you can see that they're thrown. This is the highest position. Then the leg rushes to catch the weight again, and here it extends, and after the contact the hips still come downwards because of the weight, and we can see the squashing of the back leg as the foot contacts the ground. And also I love this area right here. I love this jiggle happening right here on the belly part. At this part you can see the muscle jiggle in this area. There is a slight offset from the hips. I love how the hips are affecting and have a domino effect on the other body parts. And let's go back to take a look at this. Yeah, this part of this shot is very interesting. I love how the limping back legs here, and how the hind right leg rushes to carry the weight again as the back left leg is in pain. And here you can see it touches a little bit, just enough to push the hips up so the other leg can come forward again and carry the heavy load of the hips. Here we see this one has the weight, then immediately the weight is off slightly. Here, the moment the contact happens, immediately the other leg is off. And here he tries to again do the same thing to prepare for this big hop and coming to a lower ground. And I think this is amazing way to show the weight. The stag here is preparing to catch the weight. Let me write here weight. The demonstration here, because it needs to catch the weight with a strong leg. So here we have this moment, boom, and shake. Amazing mechanics. Look at it again. Here we can see the strong legs just throws the hips up. And here the stretch with the leg, the moment of contact, it pushes the hips to the other side. And then we have the rotation jiggle. The hips shake back and forth as the injured leg can rest without taking all this weight from the jump. Also in this shot we have really cool stuff happening in the facial performance and the ears. Here, for example, we can see this part rotating and smelling just before going in for a sip of water, and the ears, of course, and this demonstrates that the stag is alert. And I mean, of course he would be scared and alert, because in the previous shot we actually saw it like a bullet in the leg. I love this last flex of the ears to listen, and of course there's plenty of little details in all of these shots. Amazing work, truly realistic and believable. Great animation, great performance. Yes, Laurent is amazing. I hope someday to get a chance to work with him again, and that he's safe giving us more of these awesome animations. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay creative, keep animating, having fun, always growing. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. For now, I'm out.